Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Media Room Discussions with Gokul. This is SUGCON 2019 India. We have with us George Smith, who is a regional managing director for horizontal integrations. So let's talk to George and find out about more about his session and his association with Sitecore. Welcome, George.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, George, tell us about horizontal integrations and your role in HI.
So HI is a platinum partner for Sitecore, and we've been working with Sitecore for over 15 years now and exclusively with Sitecore, so we know the platform pretty well. And we have a couple offices here in India, and we see the potential of the market is really unparalleled. I think for Sitecore as a platform, there is no better long-term opportunity than India. The size of the brands, the incredible increase in consumerism, consumer expenditures running at 12% in India year on year, which is versus a global average of 5%, which means that by 2025 India will be the third largest consumer market in the world, and all of those consumers increase the importance of customer experience, and there's simply no better platform in the world to orchestrate customer experiences than Sitecore. As such, the opportunities are huge, and it's a long-term investment, but we really believe in this market, and HI is why I've moved here. It's why Sabin, our CEO, who's originally from Kerala but now lives in the States, it's why he believes so fundamentally in the country and the opportunities of Sitecore here. So that's what we're here for, and we're here to be a part of the tribe and the community and help and support and invest where we can.
Absolutely. And also, is there any region of interest for your business, or are you spread across the entire?
Yeah, so we're a global agency, and so based out of the US, but obviously we've obviously got it's this region. So my region is includes the Middle East, includes India, and includes Africa, and obviously we've got an office in Malaysia as well, which is on the outskirts of that region. And so, but we see a lot of opportunity in the Middle East. But as I say, the focus on India is real, and we really see it as just this huge potential. The size of the brands, the young population, the demographics are all in the favour. Large English-speaking population, and also you just see like the most popular YouTuber now is obviously Indian. It just overtook PewDiePie, and so that whole content is so fundamental and so key here that the opportunities for Sitecore are massive. And so there's no particular part of India that we're focusing on, but India in general. Obviously, we've got an office here in Bangalore and Gujarat and etc.
That's excellent. Okay, coming to the session that you just presented. So, can you just throw us a few highlights of this session for the benefit of the people who missed it?
So we wrote a white paper recently, and I'm talking about the 9 reasons why digital transformations fail. So taking our collective experience from around the globe and saying, look, there are very few brands now that don't understand they need to go through a process of digital transformation, that things have changed and that they need to embrace digital. I can't just build a website, put it on the side of the business. They need to look at it fundamentally. But the reality is a lot of those transformations fail, and it's not because of the product. Sitecore is a great product and many people are successful on it, or any of the other products. It's fundamentally because of the way you approach the challenge of transformation, and you've got to understand what it is. And so we try to boil that down into a number of things to really watch out for if you're going on that sort of journey. And I talked about there's obviously 9 in the white paper, but I talked about 5 of them sort of today. Talked about how you cannot repeat mistakes that other people have made, and where we've seen those successes, and how you can borrow those lessons from there.
That's excellent. I mean, you have categorized the entire problems into just 9, and now people have a specific direction to go and focus on. That's great, George. And also, coming to events like this, do you see benefits in events like this? In this community, of course, you spoke about meeting the tribe and shaking hands with the people who always speak online. But are these events useful?
They're super useful, and they're useful at many different layers. I mean, at some level, it is just it's useful to meet potential clients, and but actually, it's not. This is a community. This is a tribe, and like any community, it needs to periodically come together and refresh, and actually, there's so much creative sort of friction and conversation, and it's fantastic for it to be such a grassroots bottom-up led thing where there's so many different talkers, and you can't buy a talk, right? Your topic has to be interesting, the community has to say it's interesting, and there's so many clever people here from both the sort of software engineering and the data science and the creative fields, and of course more business marketing focused people as well, and they're all talking about different angles and it's of the same challenge, and so to be a part of the community is actually inspiring for us, and we hope that we can play a part in supporting that as well. And yeah, I mean, it's been fantastic, and every year it's bigger, every year it's bolder, and the stories are great to hear.
Excellent. Now, I'm just going to ask you out of my curiosity. So, digitalization is, of course, good, but what do you think are the ones that are not going great in terms of the digitalizations, and what do you think the challenges are there?
So, I'll give you a hashtag. And the hashtag I'm going to give you, which I think, if I was to boil it down to one thing, is CX for CA. And let me explain what that means. It's something that I always keep in the back of my mind in terms of, what is the point of transformation? And essentially, CX for CA means customer experience for competitive advantage. The most common mistake people make is they recognize digital transformation as a thing, but they think what they need to do is, build a website or build a platform, or it's just an activity for business as usual, and they're just building the thing and using the same rules and the same organization. It's so much more. Your customer experience is not a marketing trick. It's not a new way of talking about the brand. It is fundamental to your competitive advantage. In an old industrial economy, your competitive advantage was in economies of scale and factory and production process. But now in today's digital economy, with this huge rise of consumers, they're not interested in you mass producing a cheap product. They're interested in getting what they want when they want, across time, across channel, across device, across language, across geography, and you have to be able to orchestrate customer experiences that individual wants, and that's really where Sitecore comes in, because it's the world leader in personalization of content and commerce. And so when you have a system that will personalize those individuals, by 2025, 120 cities in India will have as much the household expenditure will be as much as the 5 biggest regions of India today. So if you think about that, how could you, if you're an Indian brand, or indeed a global brand, cater to an Indian market of so many different people in so many different cities, both urban and suburban, and how do you do that? And how do you offer personalized experiences? You need to take seriously the challenge of personalized customer experience and link that directly, and understand that if you get that right, consumers will choose you and they won't choose your competitors. And if you get it wrong, then the reverse will happen. And that's why your customer experience leads directly to your bottom line, directly to your competitive advantage.
Absolutely, customer experience, that's the buzzword in the industry, isn't it? So, with all this machine learning, artificial intelligence, and Sitecore and stuff like that coming together, what do you think is, how well would you know your customer when he walks in? I mean, there's a lot of information from the time he has searched for some brand online. I mean, the minute he leaves a digital footprint, there is a lot of things which happens. So when a customer walks into your store, what is the probability that you would already know what he wants, and how do you know that this is what he's going to buy?
Well, I mean, it's well before they walk into the store, right? So digital has a fantastic way of not just being, you cannot just do the transactions like buy online, but it can also drive footfall. And of course, the trick is to join up across all these different channels and understand in a picture and increase the fidelity of that picture of the customer. And so people think that you can only do that once someone's logged in, or indeed you can only do it in sort of nefarious and sort of ways, but that's just not true. I mean, what you can begin to do right from with any interaction is, if someone goes to your site from a certain location, with a browser of a certain browser on a certain device, speaking a certain language, you can detect all that from just one hit. You can also know where they've come from. If they're coming through Google, or they're coming through a Facebook campaign, are they coming direct to your homepage? They're going through a product page. This is all incredibly useful information that the system will start to calculate a probability of that person being a certain type of persona, and it will be able to offer up likely more useful content. So it could be that, when I log in, I'm going to log in from a feature phone from the UK. You're going to show me English content and English imagery and products that are are available in the UK. Show me stores that are around where I am. Whereas maybe if you're coming in, you're logging in from a iPhone X on Chrome in Delhi, your experience might be very different, and they might want to, the system might determine in much wider to show you different types of content, different languages, different products, and so it's not just a case of when people log in, you can instantly start to do it, and then of course through every interaction you can start to gain more and more knowledge about who this person is, to certain sort of probabilities, show different content, make more useful personalized recommendations, and of course then what the system will also do as Sitecore is has marketing automation. So it'll also nudge you with emails directly that are personalised to you, and eventually take you through to transaction process as well, or actually hand you off to the store. And it's more than feasible for many great brands do is they'll take that information and give that to a store attendant. So the person serving you in the store, it's a continuation of that. It's a very joined up process, and it's that experience that people want, right? That we all know we want that, right? We don't want to go and have to start the whole process again, And it's that people want, and it's that that's the reason people will select your brand, and that's obviously the promise of Sitecore.
Absolutely, and people like you and companies like you are the ones which are making it happen. It was a pleasure talking to you, George. I mean, thank you so much for spending time with us. Wish you all the best.